Now the other issue is, I know what you did in PD. And you must understand the context. I said, why do they become so obsessed? Every day is sex. Is sex. You know, the whole Malaysian politics vis-a-vis Anwar is sex. It's like IMF, World Bank, economy, Jewish agents didn't work, so sex. Men, women, boys, girls, whatever, so. Now, and I said, why do we need to resort to this? Is this an issue of morality? I mean, are these people, Najib is, supremo, comes a high moral standard. I said, look, I know what happened in PD. I was Deputy Prime Minister at that time. But don't force me to do that, because I'm not willing to go down to that level. Just to remind him to stop this nonsense, because you can't defend yourself. That was all. And people are demanding me, Anwar, say it. I said, no. Then if I do say it, then he just going to his level. That's your politics. And then who else? In this video, SK, Shoaib, and Rahim Tamici as the new UMNO Mufti. Talking about high moral standard, that in my estimation, after looking at the video, Anwar must resign, he cannot lead, he has no moral stature, and from my experience, I know that. What do they expect me to do? And so I have to respond by saying, look, who? Rahim Tamici. Now, most of your younger students have forgotten about it. Now he has now volunteered. So it's now in the public domain again. Okay? So he was trying to get personal. I told, yes, it's true. He said that I forced him to resign. What is true? But I was Deputy Prime Minister. Here in the Malaysia Hall, I was asked, this was one of the controversial decisions that I had to make. One student, I remember an ethnic Indian student, law student, stood up and asked, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, I want to know, now that Guan Eng has been charged, and Rahim Tamici has not been charged and convicted, what is your position? It was a very difficult question, because that was Mahathir's decision. I was still deputy at that time. And I know the Attorney General, Mokhtar, the CJ, Chief Judge, Yusuf, Chief, were all involved in that team. Me or the Deputy Prime, I had to then say something. I can't say, while I defend the decision of the court. I cannot. I just cannot do that. I can't say I condemn the decision. I was a member of the government. So what did I say? I said, young man, let me be honest with you. That is my predicament. That was the term I used. Because it's my conscience speaking. Let's hope that we can reform the system. I didn't condemn the decision. I didn't endorse the decision. But then it was understood. Now, the moment I returned to Malaysia, first thing the following morning, Mahathir called me and said, look, Anwar, you should have said that. Because the Attorney General and the Chief Judge came and complained to me. You see? And soon afterwards, AG then preferred a charge against me, and the Chief Judge decided my fate. What do I do? So you have to say, I have to just remind them. But if people say, well, we want to know exactly what Rahim did, I think that's not my business. But I used to remind them, if this is the morality, then Rahim needs to explain. Najib has to explain. Not only the PD, but also the Altantuya murder case. He needs to explain. I'm not prepared to go beyond that. But to suggest that I, therefore, is venturing into gutter politics is not right. And you have to state a stand. If you go and say, you are a rapist, you say, to whom did I rape? Who? It's not the victim that's complaining. You, the Prime Minister. No. In this case, even the latest charge, this young man went to see him 2 days before the alleged incident, before reporting to the police. Naturally, the Prime Minister has something to... he must at least offer an explanation. That's the context. Thank you.
From the recent concluded Sarawak election and the forming of the shadow cabinet by Pakatan Rakyat, and there seems to be inference by the DAP Sarawak chairman to say that, PKR Sarawak has not been empowered. to make decisions concerning the state. And what is the comment on that?
Second question. Sorry, second please.
Is there any way that Pakistan can build bridges with INRAF and take them on board, rather than they be a thorn on our backsides?
Datuk Seri, some political analysts have actually hypothesized that if Barisan Nasional were to send you to jail, that may actually hasten the opposition takeover of Putrajaya. Do you actually believe that to be true? And secondly, based on your own intelligence sources, if Barisan Nasional were to lose the next elections, do you know if they will actually declare a state of emergency and deploy the army? Thank you.
Terima kasih. Don't worry about these things. Alright, number one, Sarawak Shadow Cabinet. How do we function in Pakatan Rakyat? This must be difficult context. It's not to make sure DAP or Kadin. I think state leaders must learn from that experience. When I was asked to announce Shadow Committee, what did I do? I said, okay, let the various committees, you give your suggestions. Then the various committees gave. Then finally, I, Kit Siang, Hadi, sat down and decided. That was the format. What was our decision? To make sure that there is adequate representation. We can't have. That is why, for example, DAP has now, because of the crossover, DAP has the largest number of MPs. But Kit Siang said, no, you stay. I offer as a kid, come on, you can take over, I will support you. He says, no, you stay on as leader of opposition. And Hadi said, no, PAS has no other name. That's it. Oh, thank you. Well. No, but there's a position. Yeah. Of course, there are utusan, and I think probably, hopefully, the SB friends would notice correctly. Utusan said, Anwar has no moral stature because he has lost majority. It's not for utusan to decide. It's for DAP, PAS and Kadin to decide. So that's the position. So I told them, through Barubia, you just work this out and negotiate with the DAP and PAS in Sarawak, because you cannot give the impression, that there's dominance of one group. First, Melanau, then there's a Dayakism, Dayak reaction. We can't have that. Or now Chinese dominant. No, we can't have that. It's not the intention of Oleg. I don't believe it was his intention. But we must be mindful of the perception and the sensitivities, because we're talking about a new Sarawak, a new Malaysia. And that's all that we presented. So I said, I wouldn't know what portfolio, Holing, Barubian, and the party you decide. That was the decision that we made. After listening to Barubian came and briefed us. And then I was asked, what was my comment? I said, I think they can, have an amicable solution to this. He said, has it been finalized? While I said, apparently it's been finalized, but Barubian wants this to be reopened and negotiated. That's all that I said. I mean, some young guys are a bit radical. It's okay, don't worry about them. I'm not hypersensitive to this. Although I was criticized for saying that you want to interfere because they've already announced, why must it change? But perception is very important. And we have to win and consolidate Chinese support, which is remarkable these days. We have also to understand that our battleground now is the Malay heartland. So we have to deal with it. Okay. And is the toughest right now. Is this a problem insurmountable? No. But we want Kelantan, South Kedah, North Perak. I mean, this is essentially Bagan Serai, Paribunta, they are Malay heartland. Okay. So we are able to, but it is a major challenge. We have not won any single seat in the Felda areas. Virtually, it's another super government in control. But we'll make it with your help. Now, Hindraf is broken to virtually 5 factions. One has gone to Najib, emigrated to Najib. This is probably a spiritual journey. The rest are with us. I mean, there's a major gathering recently in Klang. I attended. Vasanta Kumar is with us. Ganapati Rao is with us. So I don't worry about that. But my concerns are expressed to our draft leaders has always been this. What is our problem? What's our battle? our battles against racism. UMNO, Malay, racist. We can't fight them using this sort of same line. We have to use the principle of justice, humanity, a Malaysian agenda. You must not forget. This has been always my consistent appeal. You know, there are of course clear, peculiar, or particular concern affecting the Chinese ethnic minority, or the Indians, or the Dayaks, but never fall to this threat, because that's precisely what UMNO is waiting for. They will highlight these demands out of context, and we have got to be on the defensive. But I'm very proud to say that most of the ethnic Indian leaders, those who were even involved in Indra, are with Pakatan. A number with the AP, a number with Keadilan. I even attended recently this birthday program for Om Stiagaraja, that all the Hindraf guys were there. I mean, it's very difficult to see Hindraf because Hindraf broke into a few groups now. In the event, for what? Why do they want to send Anwar to jail? Why? Which court? Under what pretext? What law? What facts do you have? DNA, sperm. I mean, and you know, in a sense, UMNO has always said that I am agent of many countries. It takes a superman to be able to be agent of so many countries. You are agent of America and Qaeda and Hindu and Chinese and extremist Islam all at the same time. They're even funding some neocon groups in the States to portray me as an Islamist terrorist with terrorist links. At the same time, in Kuala Lumpur, the special branch would help and promote me as a Jewish agent. So which means I have to be a superman. And because of that, I'm the only person whose sperm can survive for 96 hours. Gila, tak ada gila. Orang Jawa bilang ini edan, orang Jawa bilang gila. You look at the case, no, but they sperm. So in putusan, sperm Anwar ada di tubuh. And then kita pun panggil international expert, tanya UK, United States, maximum 60. Okay, a strong young man, energetic. I hope I am. 72 hours. But this is Anwar, 96 hours. But still call a sperm. What do I do? And they got the so-called Malaysian experts. Do we have specimen? No. Can we see the detailed results? No. So it's just a trust. So the judge said, you have to trust the expert. After all, he's our expert. Otherwise, she would not be called an expert. So no way they'll send me to prison. I'll fight them hard. I'm telling them. I've served 8 years in jail. 2 years Internal Security Act. 6 years initially Internal Security Act, and finally overturned the court.